All right, welcome to Bump in the Dark, Iron Country Autumn. This is a 4-session run of Bump in the Dark for the Gauntlet. I am Jex Thomas. I'm the writer of this game, and I'll be running the game for this series. I'll be the keeper. I use they and them pronouns. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at JexJThomas or on itch.io, also at JexJThomas. Michael, would you like to introduce yourself and give any plugs that you might have?
Absolutely. Hi, I'm Michael, pronouns he, him. I'm a writer and game designer. You can follow me at Not Writing Games on Twitter and check out the games I make at notwriting.itch.io.
Fantastic. Thank you. Jesse.
Hey, I'm Jesse. My pronouns are he and him, and just like to play games.
Fantastic. Brandon.
I am Brandon, he, him, and I'd like to, tonight I'm just all about the game.
Cool. And Jason.
I'm Jason, I use he, him, and I'm just a gamer.
Cool. We are playing this game as part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar. You can find out more about the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com. As I mentioned, we're playing a game called Bump in the Dark. Bump in the Dark is a game about monster hunters in a deindustrializing town in a fictionalized version of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I say deindustrializing because it is actively in process. And we are playing with some safety tools tonight. So I'm just briefly going to go over what those tools are. First of all, we are playing with lines and veils. Lines are essentially things that we do not want to see in the fiction. These are hard limits. These are boundaries, things that myself or the other players do not want to engage in. Setting up a line means that the content will not show up in the game at all. Veils, on the other hand, are soft limits, things that are okay sort of behind a curtain or off screen or after cutting to black. Setting up a veil means that the content might be in the game, but not spotlighted or described in great detail. We also have a category for things that are ask first. So those are things that maybe are okay to be in the game, but let's talk about it first. Everyone can take a moment to review the lines and veils. I will be reviewing these regularly just to make sure that we're being careful and we're being safe. We are also going to be playing with the X card. The X card is a pretty simple safety tool, pretty easy to implement. The X card can be used at any point if anyone at the table is uncomfortable with the content happening in the game. So obviously we wrote down our lines and veils, but sometimes you don't know that something is a line or a veil until it happens. The way we're going to use the X card is you can either type an X in the chat. You can cross your arms like this in front of the camera. You can just say X or say hold on. There is, I believe, an X card function on the dice roller, but I will be honest, that's going to be the least likely place for me to see it. So the chat or this or saying something is going to be your best bet. When the X card is played, that bit of content will be excised from the game. We will rewind and kind of redo. No questions asked. I might ask clarifying questions just to make sure I understand what is being X-carded. But beyond that, we don't need to have a talk about whether this is worth cutting or whatever. If someone X's it, it's gone. We are also playing with some of the script change tools by Bo Yeager Sheldon. We will be specifically using pause, rewind, fast forward, and slow motion. So pause, you can call just if you need a break from an intense scene, you need to take a bio break. If you're seeking clarity or discussion about the game or content, you can say pause. You can write pause in the chat. I guess you could make a pause symbol with your arms. Rewind, when you rewind, we back up to a specific point in a scene and do that scene over again. So this is actually kind of like what we end up doing with the X card. We do the scene over, avoiding whatever issue led up to the rewind and trying it a different way. Similarly, fast forwarding will kind of have us fade to black and advance time as needed to avoid content or elements of play, or to just move forward in time. Finally, frame by frame or slow motion should be called before scenes with content that we want to play through with care. So the stuff on our lines and veils sheet that's listed ask first, this is stuff that we probably want to go frame by frame for. During the scene, we'll call occasional pauses just to sort of check in and take the scene slowly. As part of the Gauntlet, we are playing with an open door policy, which just means that players can leave the table or leave the game in a mature manner for any reason without being judged. Obviously, this policy doesn't apply to players who leave the table in a combative or unreasonable way. But otherwise, the open door policy does apply to things as simple as bathroom breaks, taking a phone call, going to another room for an emotional cool down. Everyone here is an adult and deserves the respect to be able to take care of your own needs. Any questions about any of the safety tools that we'll be using? Cool. All right. And then I'm just going to briefly kind of go over some of the stuff from the book to get us started, and then we will go into hunter creation and pact creation. So starting out, I just want to talk just a little bit about the setting. So this game takes place in the year 1994 in the region of the fictional Ontonagon Peninsula known as Iron Country. Iron Country is a belt of mining towns, kind of barely clinging to life, with dilapidated, closed-down attractions littered along the roadside. It's a place that's not quite finished being ravaged by the indifferent forces of industry. The mining towns are surrounded on all sides by the Sylvan Wilds, a state forest known for old-growth pines and very strange happenings. And actually, all of Iron Country seems to be teeming with the supernatural, something that those in power would rather like to conceal. The epicenter of it all and where this game will be taking place is Last Pine, a small town hit hard by the long, slow death of the mining industry. It's much like any small town you might find in the northern Great Lakes states of the United States, full of nice, occasionally meddlesome people just trying to survive. But there is a dark and dangerous underbelly that's directly connected to an ancient evil. We might find out more about that in play. I suspect we'll make some contact with that. Along with that, we have 7 character types to choose from. I think everyone has chosen theirs, but I'm just going to briefly go over the types that are available. So shields are headstrong fighters and protectors. Icons are calculating liaisons and agents. Scourges are formidable spell slingers and magic users. Staves are sneaky scoundrels and crooks. Ravens are adept thinkers and watchers. Lances are passionate occultists and zealots. And the unshaped are plucky novices and innocents. Real quick then as well, just going to go over kind of goals and guidelines for the players and my sort of aims as keeper. So your goals as hunters in this game are to always portray a world that feels real, lived in, and dangerous. Play your hunter like they're a real person with hopes, dreams, worries, regrets, and bonds. Stop the monster at all costs and play to find out what happens. To do that, there's kind of some guidelines to follow. Asking questions and using the answer. Leaping into action. Using your luck. It will make you and the pact more effective. Embracing the hunter's life and the danger that comes with it. Embracing your eventual doom. doing the fun or interesting thing, even if it's not the optimal thing. Here's that idea, right, of driving your character like a stolen car. Fail forward, develop your hunter through play, be the hero because you are, and share the spotlight. And in terms of kind of my goals as a keeper, my agenda is to always portray a world that feels real, lived in, and dangerous, to fill the hunters' lives with terror, and to play to find out what happens. Any questions, comments, concerns? Cool. All right. Well, let's go into hunter creation then. And it looks like, for the most part, I think everyone is pretty well through that process. Jesse, what character were you playing? Did I hide your thing actually? Oh, there you are. Okay.
You did, but I unhid it.
Thank you for unhiding it. Oh, wow. All of these look incredible so far. So I feel like we don't really need to probably go over the step by step of creating a hunter. It seems like for the most part, folks have kind of gone through that process. I recommend probably leaving your beliefs and drive blank until you've met the other hunters, maybe after we've developed the pact as well. But any questions about hunter creation? Anyone run into any trouble? Anything you're stuck on? No? All right. Does anyone need a couple of minutes still to finish up with character creation? All right. Well, why don't we go into pact creation then? I will tab us over to the pact tab in the character keeper, and we will kind of go through this together. Or, well, let me ask y'all. Would you like to introduce your characters and then we can kind of do the pact together, or do the pact and then introduce everything together?
I would do the introduction then.
Yeah, characters first.
All right.
Yep.
That sounds good to me. All right. So I'm going to go across in the order on the character keeper. So Jesse, why don't you tell us about your character?
Yeah, sure. So my character is Harold Havamaki, Octonagon local originally, but he wanted the fuck out of this place as fast as he could. He turns 18, and he's a big guy, and he joins the army. It's the late 80s. It's like let's say it's 1989. Right? Berlin Wall just fell. Cold War is going to end. He's going to get some kind of cushy stateside job, right? Maybe be on a base in Germany, but whatever. That won't matter so much anymore. And then in 1991, he gets sent to Iraq, serving the Gulf War, because Empire doesn't stop. He. I don't think he's such a good guy. We'll see a little bit in play. He tries maybe, but he got friend of his was like, I heard about this, this archaeological site. We can go grab some stuff. People are selling it on the black market. Great, it's great. We'll make ourselves a little cash. So he goes along to loot basically the ruins of this ancient house. Right. And they unearth this bowl. As they're digging around, they unearth this bowl, which breaks, and frees a demon. There's an adventure. I don't know exactly what happens. A bunch of people die. It's bad news. But he ends up with the incantation that was originally on that bowl, tattooed on his head. And the demon trapped in there. You can see on my character sheet, I stuck a picture of one of these incantation bowls. These I can talk about them if people are interested, but I don't have to, because I could talk for a long time. Let me just quickly shoot you if you want a bigger picture, hold on. Here's a bigger picture. I thought I had it open a second ago, but then I lost the link. Anyways, so that's kind of my. After the, I think I ended up with a dishonorable discharge. Came back home, and I've got this demon in my head. So I took mechanically. I spent a. Where's my Doom track? I didn't actually click it. But I took a monstrous advance, the shield, so voices from beyond. You can attune the dark whispers of the void to gain special insight to the current situation. I think what I'm attuning is to the voice of the demon that is, currently trapped in my body. Where's the Doom track on the thing? I'm not finding it here.
It is right before, right under
right
luck.
under luck. I see it now. It's actually not hiding at all. Yeah, so I'm going to click that.
Just real quick, I'm just going to ask if you're not currently on in the scene, if you could mute your mic. We're picking up some background noise and stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm the shield. I basically solve. I think I basically solve problems with punching. I'm not a happy person. I don't want to be here. I don't think. There are people I love in this place, but I don't love this place. I could we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll learn to love it a little bit more. I feel stuck here. My solace is vice. I drink. Sometimes I fight.
So what brought you back to Last Pine? Why'd you end up here?
I was dishonorably discharged, and I had nowhere else to go.
Okay, so this was
it. I think that's sort of what it was. I probably. I think I live with my dad. I think my mom was not around. I don't know exactly when or how that happened, but she is not now and was not for, at the very least, my teenage years, maybe more. Yeah. I chose for my connections Mercy Davis, a bartender who does not like me very much, and Glorax, a fugitive demon who does like me. I think I'm kind of trying to figure out what the deal is with this thing inside of me, about which I know very little. And I just want to make a quick sort of like setting thing, if it's okay. This is like an ancient Babylonian, Persian kind of demon. This is not like Paradise Lost, fallen angel fought against God kind of deal. This is like a primal creature that's part of creation, and is bad news.
This is the demon in your head, or Glorax, or both?
The demon in my head. Glorax can be either. I don't have. Okay. I'm fine with those other demons existing in the setting if we want to do it that way. But the one in my head is not that kind of demon.
Okay.
Right? I don't think I even have a name for it yet. You can see it's like mounted on a scorpion thing in this picture. It's got some kind of a stick. But I don't know if the scorpion thing is part of the demon or a mount. Oh, we'll figure it out. We'll see where it goes. Right now, it's trapped. And I've got these tattoos on my head, and I think that's it. I didn't actually do my stats. I have to do my stats, but yeah.
Okay, cool. And just real quick, so you mentioned your connections. Mercy Davis, the bartender. So the way connections work, one of them is kind of keeping you tied to Last Pine. The other is sort of either pushing you out or pulling you away. Yeah. And you listed Mercy as the one who's kind of pushing you out. Tell me just a little bit more about that.
I just think like I'm a drunk who hangs out at the bar where she works at and gets into fights, and like she's not very nice to me. She may even think that's for my own good, right? I don't know. But I said she, her, but it doesn't have to be. But yeah, so Mercy, I think it's just sort of like is trying to make things as unpleasant for me as possible here.
And she's the main bartender at the bar where you frequent most, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Why do I
Yeah.
still frequent this place despite the fact that she abuses me? Great
Mhm.
question. Let's figure
Yeah.
it out and play.
Um,
I'm sure there are reasons.
Do
Um,
so I'm going to give you two options for bars. There's the Last Pint,
mhm.
which is in kind of in town in sort of downtown region, or there's the Gasping Canary, which you actually named in a prior one shot, and it made it into the book. And the Gasping Canary is kind of on the outskirts of town, and this is sort of the place where the miners who still happen to be employed go, as well as all the miners who no longer are employed. Which do you think would be where
Remind
you
me what
go?
the first one was called.
The Last Pint.
I think it's the Last Pint. I think I'm like part of my feeling. Like I really um, don't want to be a minor.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think like I stay away from them as much as I
yeah.
can. What do I do to work? Odd jobs here and there, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If there's a local crime syndicate or there are people who do crimes, I may occasionally like hire on as muscle.
Sure. Yeah.
But also probably odd jobs, different kinds of manual labor. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not picky.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I have to pay a little bit more money, I still stay away from the mining bar. And
Yeah.
then Glorax pulls me in. I think it's just like there's a demon here I can talk to about demon shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know where else to go to. I don't know how one is back where I was raised. What's up with that? But like Glorax is hiding here, and like I can interact with Glorax. I think Glorax probably uses any pronouns. Does that make sense? Um,
Anything as long as it's with disrespect. Is that a funny joke? Is that anything? I don't know.
no,
Um,
I think Glorax likes respect,
yeah.
honestly. But so I think she probably is like points because like she's here and that's great, and I can talk to them and learn about this demon shit.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's meet our icon, Michael.
Hello. Yeah, I'm playing the Icon playbook, a calculating liaison and agent. His name is Dale Auberndorfer. He comes from a federal bureau that looked into paranormal happenings and was forced to retire from his position in R&D after some sort of accident, and was forced into, the waking world that he'd been trying to avoid because having spent so long in the Federal Bureau learning about all the awful stuff outside and all like, the depths of the frontier of knowledge that humanity does not know, developed a healthy fear of the outside. And so he is probably with the pact because that's all he knows how to do. And yeah, he likes likes things to be orderly. He is good friends with another federal agent, Archie Morse, and X, his deceased partner. I'm guessing the ghost of the deceased partner. Not friends with. Maybe X is actually a ghost. Maybe it's Dale's incredible guilty conscience. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and one thing to keep in mind too with the contacts is that it's not necessarily a positive and a negative, right? So Archie keeps you tied to Last Pine, and X somehow is pulling you away from Last Pine.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe it's your ex.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I wonder Archie might be based out of like the field office up in Sawyer Harbor or something. So he's pretty nearby. Do you have a sense how did X die?
There was some sort of accident at the bureau, specifically like dealing with paranormal things, experiments. Like I think Dale's job was to like find these sorts of materials and like find applicable ways for agents in the field to be able to use them, combat them, and there was something went wrong with that process.
Yeah. Is this accident that X died in the one that caused them to force you to retire?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And what ability did you take?
Advanced awareness.
Cool.
So twice per hunt, I can help another hunter without marking luck.
Cool. That should be handy. All right. Well, let's talk about our Raven, Brandon.
Hi. Hope Tremblay, although she just goes by Hope. And I was tickled to see that one of the connections has the same name. So clearly that was meant to be fate. She is a young woman who, who's just, like 21, 22 years of age. Although when she smiles, she can seem younger than that. She has a sweet smile, a thoughtful expression, an armful of books, and an orange tabby cat named Humphrey who comes and goes, as cats do. She knows a lot more about strange things than her years allow. And she seems oddly familiar to a lot of people in Lost Pine, even those people who don't know her very well. The reason for that, according to Hope, and she doesn't tell this to everyone, is that Hope is actually from the future. And she's here to try and prevent a possible disaster, which is the way it turned out where she's from. She has an aura of strangeness about him, and I marked Doom to include a monstrous ability that made sense of that, which is that she can sort of come and go. She says she's stepping between parallel timelines, but not everybody agrees that that's what's actually happening. And Hope isn't 100% sure what's actually happening in some ways, because of course it hasn't happened yet. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, good. So the ability I took is all part of the plan, because sometimes she can see how things are going to turn out, and have had prepared. Verb tenses fail. But of course, she doesn't know how it's going to turn out. She just knows how it might turn out, and she can sometimes avoid some of the dire consequences as a result.
Yeah. Oh, I love that take on that ability. There is, I just unhid it in the Data Hunters tab. There is a list of it says Doom abilities. That should say monstrous abilities. But you can feel free to copy one of those in. Or if you want to work together to kind of come up with something that fits that theme,
the invisibility one actually maps nicely onto it.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too.
It's just being explained differently.
Yeah, no, I was kind of thinking the same thing.
So I'll just take that. Yeah, she can kind of not be there for short periods of time, and then be, it's like, oh well, in this timeline I was inside the house instead of outside.
Go ahead.
That again, her explanations are not necessarily persuasive.
Sure.
But she has, and there are people who think that she's that there's something wrong with the young woman, because there kind of is.
And what is her solace?
Her solace is people. She loves, especially like trading stories, and just talking about normal things, because where she's from, well, things were pretty grim, and people didn't talk about normal things because things were awful. And so, she likes hearing about what people had for lunch, in addition to, more in-depth stuff, but just the ability to connect with people that's not purely on a survival basis.
Yeah.
is really important to her.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And tell me just a little bit. So Hope Ames is the person who kind of keeps you in Last Pine, or pulls you to Last Pine. What is Hope's relationship with Hope aside from they have the same first name?
Well, they just they look similar, although Hope Eames is older.
Mm,
And some people assume that Hope is, that Hope Tremblay is Hope Eames's, like long lost daughter come back, because because you can see, okay, it's at 20 years or so, and that's pretty much the same person. Hope thinks that Hope Eames actually might be her, this Continuum's version of her.
Okay. Okay.
And anyway, they have, they feel like they're family, basically.
Mhm.
And Hope's like normal job is to work in the library.
Mhm.
And Hope
Mhm.
Eames is an elementary school teacher.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and they get together at the diner and have pie,
Nice.
and talk, and it's as if they've always known each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even though, of course, they don't really know that much about each other. It's just like,
Mhm.
it just feels, it's like, so she's the one who keeps me in, because I don't know, this Hope has never said this, of course, but she wonders, like, would this have been my life if it had been normal?
Yeah. Yeah. And how does Basil Godlove, an occult bookseller, either push you or pull you out of Last Pine?
Um, uh, well, I think that Basil Gottlob, and he's not a mean guy. Okay, he's he just he thinks I'm in the trouble nexus.
Mm.
That my being here is wrong, and wrongnesses like that cause problems.
Mhm.
He's like, he's there, he's done his um, you know his auguries and forecasts and things like that, and just done my horoscope, and he looked at it and he went, "This can't be right." It's like, no, okay, wait, when? let's just do a start again, because of course she's time shifted, and
Mhm.
so, and he doesn't exactly, may or may not exactly know that, but he knows that she's kind of displaced
Mhm.
somehow,
Mhm.
as things go, which can, which, has enough knowledge to know that happens sometimes, right? People disappear and
Mhm.
reappear.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're just victims, but he thinks that Hope, Hope has brought trouble to, here. He's trying to persuade her that she
Mhm.
shouldn't, that Lost Pine would be better off if she went somewhere else and
Mhm.
fought monsters or whatever.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Um, Thank you. Michael, did you talk about your look and your solace?
I don't think I did. No.
Oh, and Humphrey is Humphrey comes and goes even more than cats do.
Okay.
Like, he kind of came with Hope, and
Mhm.
sometimes he just vanishes and then just
Okay.
appears again in a place where plausibly a cat could be, but how did the cat get in there,
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Perfect.
Hope says kind of as a half joke, actually, he's the only fixed point of space-time in the universe.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Nobody knows if she's just being silly.
Well, maybe we'll find out. All right. Thank you. Yeah, Michael, why don't you go over your look and your solace real quick?
Yeah. So Dale Auberndorfer Looks very much like the character Gary Sitterson, played by Richard Jenkins from Cabin in the Woods. He is balding. He's got glasses. That short sleeve button-up shirt that I don't think I've seen anyone actually pull off. And he doesn't either, but it's all he knows how to wear. He has a clip-on necktie and a breast pocket that is always full of stationery, like multiple pens, slide rule, the basics.
A slide rule.
Yeah.
Wow, that's extreme.
His solace is solitude. He to do the work with paranormal stuff in the Bureau, there are very rigorous safety protocols you have to maintain. And he has kind of a ritual he does where he kind of recreates those day-to-day tasks in wherever he happens to be to kind of like get that feeling of safety and stuff like that. It's probably not a healthy coping mechanism, but it's what works for him right now.
Great. I'm particularly excited to see that. I also love that this character seems like could have just been an external containment bureau character, but like retired from that life and now is here.
Well,
So that's
they
great.
say right what you know. So
Right.
Yeah, yeah. You're not, no more trapping people in strange cabins.
No.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. And Jason, why don't you tell us about our Unshaped?
Yeah, I'm playing the Unshaped. My character's name is Arnold Bearheart, but he goes by Junior. He uses he, him pronouns. He's an 18-year-old kid. He's just graduated high school. He's got a scholarship to University of Michigan, but he's delaying going because he realizes that I assume that, being a local, we would all kind of know that the forest is weird and there's weird stuff around, but it seems to be getting weirder and it scares him, especially since he works at the gas station, sort of at the, maybe out in the, like outside of town. Like I was looking at the map, there's like two spots where like the two freeways meet. Maybe there's a gas station there. And he kind of works the midnight shift, and, he riding home on his bike, back to his house he shares with his grandmother. He's experienced too much weird stuff, too much scary stuff lately. So he's spooked, and he's concerned about leaving because he wants to make sure his grandmother's okay. So that's sort of what's led him into, doing adventures. What else about him? Let's see. He's a very sociable guy. He's very outgoing. I think probably everybody knows him at least a little bit. I picture him sitting for hours and hours in this gas station in the middle of the night, talking to people as they come in. He likes to listen to metal music. He's always got like a metal t-shirt and blue jeans on. He's let's see. He's always reading. He's always reading either like comic books or like genre books. I don't know what he's planning to do in college, but if things work out, maybe he'll eventually become like, I don't know, like a writer or something. His camaraderie is his solace. He just likes to hang out with his friends and talk about music and listen to music and just kind of talk shit. And his two connections, I've made some edits. I added two people that I thought, if that's okay. So I've got his gran is holding him here. That's his grandmother. And like I said, I think he lives with her somewhere out, sort of like in the forest. And his other one is kind of pushing him away, wants him to get out of here and get on with his life, is the high school principal, Prudence Mitchell. And I've chosen him to be a Native American. I hope to be sensitive in my portrayal. If you guys feel that my portrayal of his Native American identity is, off or gross, I'm totally open to hear about it. But I don't intend it to be like at the top of his identity, but it is who he is. Any questions about him?
Yeah. What is his ability?
He has an ability called Trust Me, which basically, when he connects with people, it increases the result by an effect, by a level.
Yeah.
It's good.
And it's 1994. What metal tapes is he listening to?
I personally am not into metal, but I was looking on the internet. There's actually a website that has year to year the bands that were big at the time.
Mhm.
So I see in 1994, I think it was Slayer had a big album that came out. So maybe
Yeah.
that's what he's got on constant repeat on his cassette deck, you know.
Perfect.
His Walkman, I guess, in 1994, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't have
I-
cell phones, right? I nobody had cell phones in '94, right? Except maybe like the military or something.
Right. Well, like there definitely were like like satellite phones and like some like kind of the real big kind of cellular phones. But yeah, I don't imagine. Well, actually, one of the pact members does have access to a satellite phone. That is our icon, one of their gear items.
May I
is a-
jump in and just tell a story that I cannot resist jumping in to tell? I apologize for derailing slightly. But when I was a teenager and going to shows, mostly like punk and hardcore shows, not metal shows at all, there was one guy, and this was 2000, 2001, 2002, a little bit later than that. There was always one guy at the show. It was the same guy. I think he came alone. I never saw him with other people, who would always stand in the back of it was every show. And just at a certain point, like when it got quiet for a second, would just shout, "Slayer rules!" I don't know who the Slayer rules guy was, but he was like, people would talk about him. Like, it was wild. I don't know what his deal was. Anyway, continue. I just felt compelled to tell that story.
Well, the 90s had a lot of metal, right? I mean, Alice in Chains, right? The Metallica, of course.
Yeah, and Junior's pretty obscure, so he might have like some like Scandinavian death metal, that was starting up at that time too. Like he's pretty wide ranging in his interests when it comes to metal. So
yeah, he's definitely doing some tape trading with people in other countries. Yeah, he's probably friends with the Slayer rules guy.
right.
He trades zines back and forth between Boston and Last Pine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that guy was probably a teenager in 1994, so it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That's also so much better than the sort of the I don't know. I've definitely been to a lot of shows where people shout Slayer as like that stupid, same way people shout Skinner as like kind of a stupid
irony,
nonsensical request. And I think just shouting Slayer rules is so much better than that.
Sounds like the guy was very very into it. Like he wasn't doing it as a joke.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's about the top of the hour. Why don't we take a break? This first break we'll do let's say 10 minutes. I'm going to listen to some Slayer, and then we'll be back at 6 minutes after, and we'll do pack creation. Sound good? Cool.
Slayer rules.
Perfect. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the pact, and then we'll circle back around to come up with some beliefs and drives for everybody. So, this is not a game about how the pact comes together. When we start, you have already been working together. If it becomes relevant to explore why the hell that happened, we certainly can. But we're going to assume that you've already been doing this whole monster hunting thing together for at least a little bit. And so, the pact is what ties your hunters together into the people of Last Pine and Iron Country. The pact ultimately is going to be kind of as much of a character as the hunters are. So I'm going to ask some questions that we'll kind of try to figure out the answers to together, and we'll go from there. So you begin with 2 bond and a trust level of 0, and then an additional bond for each connection that ties a hunter to Last Pine. So since there are 4 of you, you each have 1 connection that ties you to Last Pine. That's 4 additional bonds, so starting with 6 total. I'm going to ask some questions that kind of help define the pact that you've made with the people of Last Pine, the pact that you've made with your fellow hunters. So first, I wonder what is the unspoken pact you've made with the people of Last Pine? Is it to guard against the encroaching darkness and protect the people no matter the cost? Is it to follow an ancient covenant and maintain the balance between darkness and light? Is it to act on the orders of a secret federal division?
Can I ask
Yeah.
a general tone question maybe?
Yeah,
I
of
think might
course.
help in terms of pitching what the answer to some of these questions. Like how I guess dark or light do we want to go here? How heroic do we want to be? How bleak are the circumstances that we're facing? Are we like? I think getting a sense of what folks want around that stuff will help me pitch answers to some of these questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
My personal instinct is always to lean into the darkness.
Embrace the darkness.
We're people doing our best in a hopeless case, and our best might not be that good. But I'm open. Like, I'm also perfectly happy for us to be, to be, for it to be a bit lighter than that. Fighting back the encroaching darkness with strength and fierceness such as we can. Same concept, but pitched a little bit lighter. Do folks have thoughts about what they did there?
I do. I think my concept of hope is that she's from a future where it all went to shit, where the Hellmouth opened up in this area, and things fell apart, and so she is determined that there is another possible future. So we're not just staving off the inevitable. But so in other words, it could be pretty grim, but we can maybe stop that.
So I'm getting a feel like I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but like what's the X-Men Futures Past, or what's that classic
Futures Past?
Yeah, if you're familiar with that, like I don't know if I've ever read it, but it's like the future is a very bad place, and but there's a chance that we can avoid that. But it's pretty desperate, right? It's more of a high stakes kind of thing you're picturing, Brandon.
Oh, very much so. And how likely it is that we can change. Hope doesn't really know. Yeah. She just knows that we have to try because not she's seen what happens when people didn't do it. She's actually from that,
right?
So she knows so Hope is a very hopeful character from a very grim background. I'd like to emphasize that sort of dichotomy.
Okay.
I wonder if the unspoken pact we've made with the people of Lost Pines. One question I have is how clued in is the average person in Lost Pine about the weird?
That's a really good question.
I was going to ask that too, actually.
Yeah. And we can tune this a little bit, but sort of by default, I would say not very. I would say that this is sort of people have a lot of cognitive dissonance. Let's say that, right? Mm-hmm. People will work very hard to have rational explanations for irrational things. So I think that people know that something is going on, but there are very few people who would be like, oh yeah, there's a void mouth here, and the darkness encroaches through, right? Like, some people probably believe in ghosts or demons or whatever, but I think
Sure.
yeah.
Well, that gives
Yeah,
me
I
an
would
idea
like
for a pact then.
Okay. Well, let's talk about tone just a little bit more, and then we'll come back
Sure.
to that question. Does that sound okay?
So I love that. I wonder if we could tweak it slightly, and really just the last part you said, which is that like there are lots of people in the world. This is just true, I think, who believe in all kinds of things. Right? Like it's actually really normal for people to believe in ghosts and demons, and like they don't think they appear in their lives in like really big ways most of the time, but like if you ask a lot of people, do you believe? Sure, I believe in ghosts. Right, they're real. Like I think it's an astounding number of people who answer yes to those kinds of questions. So I wonder if like it's like I think a lot of people probably do believe in this stuff, but when confronted with the reality of it, like kind of recoil, right?
Yeah.
You know.
I'm picturing like a more serious, or maybe some of the more serious episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yep.
That's what I'm visualizing.
I think
So
so.
the pact I'd like to suggest ties right in with this, which is that that the unspoken pact is keep things deniable. In other words, the people of Lost Pine want to have normal lives. They don't want to think that they are in a world that's where awful things happen and that you don't know what you're going to wake up to. So part of our kind of pact is to kind of keep the weird at arm's length.
How about more like because given what I'm thinking for my drive, it might work better if it's more like get things back to the way they used to be, the normal weird rather than the extra weird that it's getting into. Break that down to some sort of sentence, but
yeah, because I actually like the idea of like keeping the possibility of the opening of like embracing some weird, right? I think right now, like I don't remember what my character's name is anymore. Carden is like conflicted about his own relationship to the weird. But like I think I wonder if we just want to keep like the pact is something a little bit more straightforward, which just like we will fight back the darkness. Something like really straightforward like that, which I think is in Brandon your kind of wheelhouse. But like focuses and then we can ask questions like, well, what is the darkness? Is this thing dark or not? It leaves room. It's a very straightforward pack that leaves room for complexity, I think.
I mean, another way to look at it is that the people of Lost Pine, the most important thing to them is to have a future, right? And our pact is to keep the future alive.
I like that. I'm a big fan, if you haven't guessed from reading this book, of finding hope in hopeless times. And I think that's I like the idea of highlighting that. I'd like to hear from Michael, though, if you have any thoughts or feedback on kind of the discussion so far in terms of what this pact is.
Yeah, I think like ensuring a future and like pushing back the darkness, I think these are all like pretty strong, like general, like we are here to manage danger, right? Like we know enough to know that there are dangerous things out there that most people don't or can't see. And our responsibility to the people of Last Pine is to, like push back the darkness, fight the fires we can see, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if someone wants to put that into a sentence and plop it in the packed sheet, go right ahead. I really like that, Michael, the fight the fires that only we can see. That's good. Yeah, but generally, fight back the darkness to ensure a future. Cool. And what is the promise, kind of spoken or unspoken, that you've made to each other? Is it to have each other's backs no matter what? Is it to kind of stay out of each other's way? Is it to rely on each other as hunters but never get involved in each other's personal lives no matter what? Like, what kind of promise? As you can guess, that one has been used and has been gotten very messy in the past. But yeah, I'm curious. What we know a little bit about your relationship to the people of Last Pine and Iron Country. What's your relationship to each other?
I laughed because I can just see somebody saying to Hope, "Don't tell me how it turns out."
Saying no spoilers wasn't a thing yet.
But it's like, yeah. But that's not a promise to each other. It was just something that came to mind.
I think to rely on each other sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Let's make it pithier.
Maybe to recognize that we have a heightened awareness of the weird, so to count on each other, to
listen to each other.
I don't know if I like listen to each other a little bit. I don't want to, at least it to start with, like necessarily like have the relationship be like all for one and one for all, like right off the bat. I think that's like an interesting story to tell. But I do think like a spoken or unspoken promise, like, but I also don't love these ones that are like, and let's push each other away, right? I do like the idea of like, that's what what's the commitment we've made to each other about this business that we're doing?
Put up with each other.
Is it to put up with each other? I kind of like that, but like
how about to promise like to not keep things to ourselves, right? Because everybody's got we're a bunch of people with different skills and knowledge, and it's like that maybe the promises that we share, we bring things to the table.
I like that with I think Cardin keeps a lot of stuff close, but I think resources, I think that's maybe right. Maybe when fighting the darkness to bring our all or something like that.
Well, I'm not talking about feels, but it's just like if you know something, you don't.
Resources,
something about
energy,
what's going on, you don't.
Effort, those kinds of things. Information about the specific thing we're doing.
Could it be something like share the burden?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Sounds pretty feelsy.
Well, but meaning you could take that as feelsy as you want, right? Like share the burden means like I'm going to do my part here, but I'm not going to do any more than that.
Yeah, well, so another way of saying it might be pull your weight.
Pull your weight. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that.
How about that?
Sure. You're muted.
I also like that. It implies a certain amount of personal responsibility that we can call each other on, and like we'll be tested as things go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like that this feels like something that would actually tie these people together, right? Like, because y'all are pretty different. So yeah, I like the idea of something that's kind of very much focused on, this is our responsibility. We're going to share the burden. We're going to pull our weight. Jesse, I want to ask real quick. I keep hearing you calling your character, is it Cardin? You'd written Harold. Did you decide to change it?
No, Harold is better. Harold is what I ultimately chose. I started with Cardin. Cardin was the name I initially used, and so like the file name is like Cardin Picture and Cardin Tattoo. But I renamed it to Harold. Harold is much better. Harold is the name I actually want.
Okay.
Harold Haven. Also, I want the alliteration. Get a little bit of that comic book vibe there. Harold Haven Mackie.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. If someone wants to then put that promise into a sentence and put it in the pack sheet, and then want to think a little bit about what is your reputation among the people of Last Pine. And this is one place too where I want to point out explicitly your reputation does not need to stay the same throughout the story, right? But kind of starting out, right? Are you unassuming? Are you troublemakers? They worry about what you're getting up to.
We are weird balls, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say a bunch of weirdos.
All of us are weird in different ways. That's definitely true.
And I think especially like Jex was saying, we're all very disparate. Like people are surprised that we're together. They spot us together at the, at the cafe or whatever, and they're like, "Why are those four together?"
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we can figure this out, like how much any of us are friends versus like, or the individual relationships between us versus how much it's a working relationship, and like people are just confused by all of it. I think probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So weirdos, I love it.
Yep.
Does and this is something we can come to through play too, but is there a name that your pact is known by, either within the group or among the locals?
You have it on your list, and I think it fits. Weirdos.
Just weirdos, yeah. So your reputation, weirdos. Name of the group, weirdos.
I think so.
Works for me.
I love that. Very simple.
Assemble the weirdos. No? Too soon?
I'm just Googling like Uper slang to see if there's anything fun there, but I think weirdos works.
The Oddballs Cup.
What year did the Goonies come out?
For this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like all the Uper slang I'm familiar with, none of it is that would work that well here.
The fruitcakes. No.
So a lot of stuff about the Apostolic Lutheran Church in this one website I'm looking at.
Yeah,
That's
apparently one of the dominant denominations up there. Lots of Finns and
Lutherans.
Yeah.
Anyone who listened to Prairie Home Companion knows that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There is a really kind of interesting confluence of cultures in Upper Michigan, though, just with the kind of like the French trappers and fur traders and stuff. There was a pretty sizable Jewish community, especially in like Keweenaw County. I don't know. I think the UP is a very interesting place.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. So weirdos or any other thoughts that?
Weirdos is great.
I'm good with weirdos. Yeah. All right.
It's okay.
Cool. And so let's talk about there is a map in the character keeper. If you go over to the map of Last Pine tab, and I'll do a screen share with this as well, just to show off this incredible map that Eli made. But so I have to figure out how to screen share, present.
As an aside, like I think like Junior on his own is actually probably pretty popular. I think everybody kind of likes him. Like he gets along with everybody, but maybe seen in association with you other guys, maybe he comes to be
Hope likes him.
Seen as a weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that's like something. I mean, you tell me. But I wonder if that's some of like the tension with Junior as like this teenager that's hanging out with these like older people, right?
Yeah.
And
Hey, not a lot older.
I mean,
I don't think you're much older. I think the only one that's actually
you're totally old.
Is Dale, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like in my mid-20s. right? If I was 18 and 89, it's 5 years. I guess I'm 23, my early 20s.
You got a big tattoo on your head, so
Yeah, I mean, I'm a weird. I mean, I'm clearly a weirdo, right?
yeah.
I'm the weird drunk with the tattoos on his head.
I don't think tattoos in your head was a thing in 1994 either. So that's
Well, it was if you were like a biker,
yeah,
or some other thing. Maybe they think you're a biker.
It must be on like the back of your head. Is that where it is, Jesse?
No, it's these. If you can see the picture, it's like these spirals around my skull of this Aramaic text with this
Like
image
at
of the
the
demon
crown
in the
of your
center.
head?
Yeah, all the way around the crown of my
right.
head.
All right. Okay.
Because it was originally on a bowl, right? So it's dome
It's like if you took the bowl and smushed it down.
Yep, exactly.
I see. All right.
Was it like a fruit bowl?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it's a ceramic bowl, probably.
Sure. Probably held some dates or something.
Yeah. Well, no, it was
maybe human blood.
It was buried in the foundation of.
Maybe it's like
house.
is that Aramaic for this is very delicious.
Probably not. I confess I did not try to make out the text. Should have. Took too long.
So let's think about where your base of operations is. So we have some locations already that have come up. So we know that Junior works at a gas station. I think in your description you said 76 station. Yep. Kind of right in the kind of crook where Highway B and Highway F come together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Out here past
there.
This church. Yeah. We also have Junior's house somewhere kind of in the woods. We have what are some other locations that we have so far? So we have the library where Hope works.
Yes.
The community room of the library is always a fun place to get together. What else? What other? Anyone have any thoughts on locations that your characters would be kind of tied to?
The diner.
Yeah, we have the diner. We have the Double Z.
Yes. Hope is very big on pie. They don't have pie in the future.
Yeah, maybe we meet at the diner, or do we need somewhere that's more like like our own little,
Yeah. So yeah, it is a little bit more. I mean, this is kind of similar to like your base in like Blades in the Dark or something like that. You
sure
pick some upgrades that you have, and so it does have
maybe like Hope has access
benefits
to like the fallout shelter from the 50s or whatever. It's underneath the library.
Under the library, yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's awesome.
There's totally a fallout shelter.
That feels like so super.
Even though this is so far away from like any target,
right? There would never be a bomb here, but yeah,
it's just like every community had to have a fallout shelter, and it's still down there, and it's pretty much, it's got a crank for fresh air, and stuff.
So one
really,
thing. So
really
I mean,
thick walls and a winding passage to get into the shelter.
I love this. I feel like it's a good like thematic echo of a past that has a horrific future, right? But yeah, definitely as someone who grew up in northern Wisconsin, where not near any kind of potential target, there were still fallout shelters everywhere. The other thing though is I think that maybe there's like a one of the actual locations in the book is sort of like a antenna array. So like maybe like a UHF array or something like that, and or like ultra low frequency or something. So that actually feasibly could be a real target, right? But yeah, I love that. So is this the fallout shelter under the library?
Under the library, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I see it.
It would either be under the library, under the school, and let's pick the library.
Yeah. So we do have kind of a canon location for the library, which is number 4 on this map, but we can, if we decide that we want it to be somewhere else, it can be. Anyone have any strong feelings about it being somewhere other than by that number 4?
It looks nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
All right. And so now we're going to choose 2 upgrades that represent your pact, promise, or reputation. So I'm going to go to the list of upgrades. Your base can be hidden. It has a secret location, is disguised to hide it from view. that one might make sense here. Quarters, it has living quarters for the hunters. Without this upgrade, each hunter sleeps elsewhere and is vulnerable when they do. It's secure. It has locks, alarms, traps to thwart intruders. A second upgrade would include arcane measures that work against the supernatural. Library. Your base has a library fully stocked with the important tomes on arcane knowledge, rituals, cryptozoology, demonology, and more. An iconic vehicle. You already have a car, probably. That's the thing that's true about this setting. You don't grow up in a place like this and not have a car because you aren't going anywhere. Some people might not have a car. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Junior riding a bicycle out to the 76 station, but so if you have an iconic vehicle, you can kind of decide what's special about it, and it holds 4 comfortably plus your gear. You can have a garage where you can securely store and repair a vehicle or other things. A workshop, a containment of some sort. So a secure or warded room or container that can hold or bind supernatural entities. An armory, a secure room holding your weapons and armor. And this actually gives you access to some additional gear. If you have that, a handgun, a rifle, and body armor gets added to the list of basic gear. A laboratory that can be used to analyze evidence, artifacts, monster parts, etc. Or a pet. Any feelings on any of those?
I like the pet usually more trouble than they're worth.
You seem like Dale is a very techie kind of guy. I'm curious to see if you want any of these, Michael.
Well, for Harold, yes. I bet he wants an armory. Huh?
I wouldn't say no, but also a library, I think, makes some sense given the location, right? For there to be like an arcane library, like in the Fallout shelter underneath the regular library, kind of cool.
Yeah. Might explain why Hope came here and got this job or whatever. Yeah, like I said,
I like
some
library.
sort of lab or something would be good.
Yeah, Michael, what do you think for Dale? What's Dale interested in?
Yeah, I think workshop would probably be good, like a place where you can tinker with stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay,
I might vote for library. That's my
We do a library and a workshop then. How's that?
Okay. And we actually get to pick one more. I probably should change the wording here because it doesn't really make sense to have them separated out like this. But yeah, you actually then get to choose one more. So you have a total of 3 upgrades altogether.
The armory.
Let's get the armory.
Okay. I don't think any of us is really much of a fighter other than...
No, I am. I solve all of my problems with punching. Okay. I'm good at it.
Well, what's nice about the armory is that it gives not everyone has access to guns or armor otherwise. Like only certain hunters have those things. Like the shield and the icon both get armor. But yeah, so this opens that up. And this is the first time anyone has ever chosen armory, so I'm kind of stoked about that. Cool. So it has a library, a workshop, and an armory. It's hidden insofar as it's a Fallout shelter, but this is a Fallout shelter that other people, people know where it is. They know that the Fallout shelter is under the library.
It's locked. It's locked,
right.
And like nobody goes there. And it has cans of stuff from the 50s.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like, potatoes. They have very generic labels.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, this is a TV show, right? So definitely the prop department has done. I mean, I always think of my favorite Hallmark for this is Repo Man. Right, like they have like the beer, it just says beer on it. So definitely that sort of thing stocked in here a little bit.
That's how they stocked Fallout shelters. Yeah. There might be some brand name things like Del Monte green beans.
Sure. Yeah.
But some probably some brands that don't exist anymore. Although brands,
Yeah.
although brands of canned stuff tend to last forever, it's fun. It's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, as a TV show, we definitely have, our own brands here, and we can choose a packed ability. So the packed abilities are listed in the Character Keeper and also on page 56 of the book. I prefer not to read all of them. So if you want to look through them and if any of them call out to you, just go ahead and start talking about it.
Can I make a pitch for where from here? Most of us are local, and Hope is, I think, right. Hope's kind of almost local, and I think that. So I think like we're weirdos, but we're like Last Pines weirdos is kind of a cool thing. And it also just seems kind of like I like 1-1 alarm is good for Fallout rolls, and
I like that too.
and then we get to like be friends with people, even
Hope
if
is-
we're not that good at being friends.
Is alarm like heat? Is that the kind of
Exactly
equivalent?
so. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I like that idea that like of us sort of like, as much as we don't fit in, places have people who don't fit in, and they're still like of that place in a real way. Sometimes I don't know.
I'm from here. It's just not this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take it. So I'll go ahead and mark it.
Cool.
Michael, do you have an idea? Alternate idea? Are you good with it?
No, I love that idea.
Okay.
Cool. And now we're going to establish a couple of relationships. So just like your individual hunters have connections to the people of Iron Country, so does the Pact. So we're going to choose a faction that's been helpful in some way in the past. And I think probably the easiest way to do this maybe is to make some pitches. I can pitch some factions, and y'all can decide if any of them seem like a good fit for this, or if not, I'll pitch a few more. So a faction that's been helpful in the past, some that kind of come to mind. The Citizens Brigade is a sort of secret society that was formed to protect Last Pine from the encroaching darkness. I don't know. I suspect that they do things differently than you do. The Feds potentially, since we have a connection there. They're based out of Sawyer Harbor. They always have jurisdiction. The Forest Service could be potentially someone who's been helpful in the past. If you want, the mining concern could be. Any other big ones? The Historical Society, the Sheriff's Department also is maybe could be helpful. Maybe sometimes they toss things your way.
I'd like not to be friends with cops, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's quite all right. Yeah.
And the list of these is on page 121, I think.
Yep.
If I have that right.
Yep. 121 and 122.
I
do have
how many of these do we get?
You pick one that has helped you in the past, and then we're also going to pick one that you've sort of screwed over in some way in the past.
Oh, okay. So maybe the Historical Society, they're kind of library-ish, it sounds like, as our positive. Put that out there.
Yeah, although I mean something on the outside that is kind of focused differently than we are, like the Forest Service.
Or the Feds. I like that idea. That was interesting. That could be interesting.
So that does go against
I don't.
no cops
I'd
rule.
really
You don't
rather
want the
not be
cops. Okay,
Feds. Yeah. What about? I'm just looking at
The
this list.
tribal council is interesting.
Yeah, or the hand of the.
What are
hand
these?
Of the
What are these
movement.
little 1, 2, and 3s?
Yes, that's their tier. So kind of how powerful they are. as I mentioned before, there's expanded sort of faction stuff that Michael actually worked on with me, but it's not been incorporated into the book itself yet. But yeah, so tiered is generally kind of how powerful they are in Iron Country. Okay, so
yeah, tribal council sounds interesting.
okay,
Like
Yeah,
that.
I could go for that. And then we could have the feds as the opposite, the ones that we're on the wrong side of the coin with.
Do you want the feds or the sheriff's department for that? If we're gonna do.
Well, who have you
Yeah,
gotten
'cause-
more in trouble with, Harold?
Well, yeah, one of us is an ex-fed.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah, I guess
bad
Michael, how
history
do you
with
feel
them.
about that?
I'm happy with either. I do like the idea that we start off not on great footing with the feds, because I'm sure that'll only get worse.
Sure, let's do that. Let's do that then. And then
There's a reuse
positive
show.
with the tribal council. You guys want to do that? Kind of lean into the Native American aspect.
Sure.
That works for me.
yeah. So how has the tribal council been helpful in the past?
Spotting trouble.
Spotting trouble. Okay, say more.
Yeah.
And maybe
I
also
think
providing material support.
Yeah, and I think I imagine, as is true of most Native American peoples, they're kind of pushed to the outskirts of the county, so they're right next to the forest rather than being in town. So maybe get a lot of reports, maybe through me, that things are getting really ugly out there. Their dogs are disappearing, or people are acting strange, or whatever. Maybe they're more on the ground, so to speak, with what's really happening.
Mm-hmm. I also like that relationship kind of like gives us an edge to be like, the problem with 1 week wasn't that like the spirits were taking loggers. The problem was the logging.
Right.
Like the spirits are fine. It's just that
Mhm.
because people are encroaching is why people are going missing.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the tribal council is kind of an association that exists throughout the entire region, and I think that they've been kind of growing concerned about the integrity of the veil that separates the world, right, or the sort of our material plane and whatever's on the other side of that veil, the void, presumably. And so, yeah, I think it makes sense that they probably there's some people in Last Pine that y'all are friendly with. There's people kind of throughout the region. I don't know how much we're going to accomplish in 4 sessions, but I imagine in a longer campaign that could really open up a lot of different possibilities for going outside of just Last Pine as well. Okay, so tribal council and the feds. How did you screw over the feds, or how did you piss them off?
Folks messed with evidence. Right, that's a classic thing that people do.
Yeah, and I think if it's okay, I think maybe in messing with evidence, like I picked an actual fight with one of them, and like I'm an identifiable dude, and punching a fed, like whatever, it was not. They decided it wasn't worth the hassle of doing of actually locking me up for more than a night. I didn't hurt anybody, but. It was easy. When I was in that fight, something disappeared. So,
hey Dale, how does Archie feel about having been punched by Harold?
Not great.
Love it.
Haven't talked a whole lot since then. Gonna be completely honest. I'm pretty sure Dale was probably the one that had to like.
Did you get community
Harold up from prison?
Did you get community service?
Oh yeah. No, they're checking up on me. And I've had to do some community service. Who knows? Maybe I don't know. I haven't actually looked too closely at the strings mechanics here, but certainly non-mechanically, there's a string on me there that they can pull.
Yeah. Cool. And so in the pack sheet, you can just add that you have +1 status with the tribal council and -1 status with the feds. And finally, you're going to choose or create an ally who knows about your base, what you do there. And if they're friendly with a particular faction, you can take status with that faction, or if they're unfriendly with a faction, you can take negative status with them. But there's a list of suggested allies on pages 41 and 42. I guess it'd be specifically on page 42 for the packed allies. You can pick one of those, or if you would like, we can make up somebody new. Allies, pretty similar to a connection, but they have a little bit more mechanical weight. They have a quality attached to them. So if you need to roll that trait, their quality is always going to be the pack's trust level +1. So they'll be starting out with a quality of 1. Yeah, so where'd that list go? Connections. So our examples.
Gretchen Manners. Miguan
Yeah.
Chubbuck. Berta Hayward, an exiled Bigfoot. Fitzroy, a haunted doll.
No dolls.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
No creepy dolls, please. Thank you.
You got
Please and thank you.
it.
I mean, the Midwest Chubbuck would make sense given the tribal council.
Which one?
Mi'kmaq Chubbuck. Almost certainly a Native American
Oh, yeah.
name.
Social worker.
But if, I mean, maybe that's pressing the same key twice.
Yeah. I mean, I really think I think it's okay sometimes to press the same key twice. But also, yeah, if there's anyone here that seems most interesting.
Well, I mean, a social worker, I would imagine in Lost Pine, a social worker is dealing with substance abuse, right?
Yeah, probably a lot of substance abuse.
Alcohol and maybe meth. What
Yeah, I feel like
what do they do in a kind of?
Yeah, I feel like. Well, I mean, this isn't necessarily our actual history, but I feel like meth probably didn't hit until much later. But probably some good old bathtub crank is probably going on.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
but
go ahead.
alcohol probably mostly.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I
alcohol.
keep having this vision of like a hermit out in the woods. It's not on the list, but that's what I'm like.
Well, I mean, one of those sounds like they
a
could be
mystic. Maybe like a mystic or a magician.
I like the social worker, but I'm open.
Well, we can have both, right? We can have 2. How many allies do we get?
You start with 1, but
Okay.
this is a short series. I am fine with us having 2.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably only engaged with them once or twice. So why don't we go with the social worker? I like that. We can find out who this person is as we go. Maybe we'll get more of that out of them. Mi'kmaq Chubbuck.
And how does Mi'kmaq know about what y'all are up to?
Is Mi'kmaq related to Junior somehow? A cousin?
Sure. And I think also you're court ordered to go see him once a week, right? Him or her.
Her, yeah.
Her. I'm not. Sure. Why not? Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, she's not like a parole officer or something, but yeah, I mean, I could
No, it's
see
part of your community's
anger
community
management.
service.
Yeah, I think it's since I punched Archie, right? This is not like a long-term thing. This is I like that. Since I punched Archie, right? I wasn't actually drunk at the time, but in the altercation, I had like a little, a little bottle in like my pocket, and it broke. So I smelled like I was drunk, and that's part of why I only got the community service and the social worker visits.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, you punch a federal officer. I don't think most people get off with only community service. So
yeah, but the locals vouch for me. I'm one of them.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Dale's not a
He's a
federal officer anymore, right?
PTSD.
It's true.
Dale is no
Yeah.
longer, right? Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you also need a social worker because have you looked at your place?
I'm a vet, right? I think
You know,
there
it's
were
like-
things in my
It's
favor.
like, have you actually ever vacuumed?
My place?
Yes.
I mean, I live with my dad, and he's very fastidious.
Oh, okay.
So the one room that my room is the one that's like dank and gross, and the otherwise very neat house.
Cool.
Yeah.
So do we want to just take another status point with the tribal council, or do we want Migwan to pull in another faction for us?
So there was a faction, and this may also help tie into what Jason wanted. There's a faction that looked cool, but I have now lost the page for. Hold on.
121.
Yeah. It was the in Hand of the Moonlit Lodge.
Mhm.
I think the Moonlit Lodge is super cool as a concept. I wonder if Migwan has some kind of connection to them.
Mhm.
Oh, it's
Sure, that
Order of
works for me.
Spirits, though.
Sure.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we can figure that out in play, but yeah, why don't you take add on the Hand of the Moonlit Lodge to your faction faction tracker and give yourself +1 status with them. That's exciting. That is a favorite faction of mine for sure.
I mean, it was like singing to me.
Oh, and we write in.
Not the
"Those
first
guys
unholy
in-"
estate of the adversary, really?
That one
Wow.
too. That one too. That one was singing to Harold. The Hand of the Moonlit Lodge was singing to Jesse.
Oh, I cannot wait until I actually get to update the book with all the faction stuff, because yeah, Michael did some incredible work
Yeah.
on some of these,
Right.
including the first unholy estate of the adversary.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Michael,
although
I'm
I
excited to see
almost
it.
wanted to have something super mundane, like, you know, the radio WIRN, you know.
Yeah.
But okay,
Well, you know, and what seems mundane might not always be either.
right, I understand.
Yeah. Okay. And
Island County Radio.
see if I think that is. Oh, and then the last thing is just going through and we develop Last Pine a little bit. This is a little bit more for, you know, specifically for kind of campaign play. But we would just go around the table, and each player chooses one unlabeled location on the map and labels it. Don't have a great way of doing that right now. Maybe I'll set up like a Miro page or something with the map on it, but we can always just kind of each come up with a location and decide generally where it is on here. So you choose a location and label it, or add a new location, and then ask another player to introduce a rumor about the location. I'm just going to go across the bottom of my screen. Michael, what's a location for us to add to the map or to label?
Good question. Ooh, you know what? I would love to have a rumor about folded corner books.
Mm-hmm. Anyone got a rumor in mind for folded corner books?
Yes, but that's 40 color books is where my occult bookseller is the proprietor, and he a rumor about it is that he deals special books under the table.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Special
So,
books.
There's like, there's like, there are some books that you have to know to ask for.
Right, like when you go to In-N-Out Burger and ask for something off the secret menu.
That's right.
The secret book menu so bad.
Well, and people, and probably there's a rumor in there too that it deals with stuff other than books.
Yeah. Okay. And is there any Michael, any kind of new location that you'd like to add to the map, or label a building that's not already labeled?
Oh, geez. I don't know. Does Dale's sad apartment count?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dale's sad apartment, or DSA for sure.
Yeah.
Is Dale's sad apartment like kind of like in the a residential district? Is it on the outskirts? Is it are you in like a trailer park? What do you have a sense of where Dale lives?
Oh. No, I like the idea. Like it's out, not in downtown. It's like out near Highway FF, like between 7 and 9. It's like,
Yeah.
just a solid block of like they got some fancy architect in here, and just for some reason got a really drab utilitarian solid block of concrete.
Yeah.
Where all the divorced dads end up. And Dale.
Yeah, I love it. That is East Pine, or was once East Pine, has now been incorporated into Last Pine proper. And yeah, that's sort of that makes perfect sense for that to be kind of the location.
The nickname for that area is, of course, Least Pine.
Least Pine. Okay. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, there's definitely like East Pine signs that someone spray paints an L on for
L
sure.
on the front. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Great. All right. Well, thank you. Jesse, any location you'd like to add to the map?
Yeah, I think there's like a big old shale quarry. Or a slate quarry. I don't know. One of those kinds of like not particularly valuable but useful rocks. Maybe
there's a mine on the thing. Is that a
so the mine I think is something different. I think that I think this is because the thing about the thing about shell quarries is that they're not like mines where you go underground, which I think these mines, it's important. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like a thing for some of the setting. Like a shell quarry is just like an above ground kind of pit.
The gravel pit.
Yeah, or like it gets chipped. It gets chipped out of the side of cliffs, right? Stuff like that. So I'm wondering if you go sort of northeast from where Highway B hits Highway FF, there's that like set of cliffs above the river. Not the ones directly under whatever that big building is, but the ones a little bit farther south, like due north of the number 12. I think that's where the shell quarry is.
Is this an in-use quarry, or is this like an abandoned quarry? I mean, there's lots of good.
It's in use by the local high school students.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. It's definitely abandoned for no one's. Why would people take shell from up here? There's places that are closer. Transportation's much cheaper.
Yeah.
I've got the rumor for it when we're ready.
Cool. So just one question real quick. So a lot of these sort of old abandoned quarries basically kind of end up being very dangerous lakes, right? Like they get filled in with water over time. And I remember there was one when I was in high school that we would go to and just dive into, which like there was literally machinery under the water that people could hit.
That's exactly what this is, right?
Yeah.
The river here has flown into, it's now become a lake. I think at one point it was dammed to redirect it away so that they could mine the shale. And that dam has completely collapsed. The both underground water and the above ground water has just like filled it. Kids definitely jump off those cliffs down into the pit, down into this very still kind of lake. It's pretty.
It's also it's a great late night parking spot
for sure. I want to hear that rumor, though. I'm dying to hear that rumor, Jason.
Yeah.
I think the rumor is that if you go there at certain times, maybe like the phases of the moon, you're likely not going to survive. Like, maybe at the full moon, that's not a place you want to go.
Because there's a monster.
Something
in the
lives
water.
in there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Guilty River. I was the Guilty River Shale Company, so
Okay. Okay.
That's what it once was.
Give Brandon just a couple of minutes. There we go.
You're in.
Perfect. All right, and Brandon, I think it is your turn. Let me figure out how to show the screen again. I don't know why it disappeared.
I'm looking at the mural. So to spot something on the map.
Yeah, so you can label a building or location that's unlabeled, or add something new. Tell us a little bit about it, and then.
Well, I think there's a very obvious thing that needs a label, which is that it looks like there's a big track, right? There's a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the high school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, Panthers
Okay.
is the football team.
Go Panthers.
I realized after Eli had turned in this map and I paid for it and everything that really probably should have been a hockey stadium. But what
It could
can
be.
you do?
It could be. It doesn't look like a hockey stadium.
Right. But maybe it's like, well, I was going to say
They play
in the winter,
football everywhere.
right.
I mean, if they can play in Green Bay, for gosh sakes, they can play anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should it be Panthers or should it be something having to do with mining? Steelers and stuff. I like Panthers.
Mhm.
It's high school names tend to be kind of hew to a pattern.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Does anyone have a rumor about either the high school or the Panthers football team?
It's about the stadium. I think the rumor is that it was built it was built in the 70s, right? It was like there was some kind of a grant, right, that came in to let them build a new football. Like it wasn't just a field anymore with some bleachers, right? They actually built like a kind of a stadium there. And some kids who are like who are fucking around in the construction site didn't make it out. We're buried in the we're caught in the who knows exactly what happened. They got drunk, they passed out, and then concrete was poured on them, or there's a million different versions of this exactly what happened, right? But now the stadium is haunted.
Yeah.
That's the rumor, that these kids, you can, especially during like snowy games, which happen a lot up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's an extra couple bodies on the field, sort of framed by the snow, lost in the snow. Yeah.
They sometimes appear as like more or less like snow angels, right? Like these imprints in the snow, like kind of like that, or
sure. Well, I was thinking more along the lines of they're actually like in the heavy snow where visibility is not great, right?
Yeah.
You sort of like there's a shape there on the field that's not one of the players.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. All right. Cool. And Jason, is there a location that you would like to add to the map?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it. The 76 station. I think it's I think it's on Highway B, east of town, kind of where the two freeways meet, but a little bit farther west along that river there, Guilty River.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's at the side of the road, there's the 76 station. In the middle of the night, it's just sitting there. There's nothing else around for, half a mile or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a 2-track that I take, up the river that takes me to Grant's house. Maybe there's a 10, 15-minute bike ride I have to take through the forest to get to my Grant's house from the station.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably like a 1990s version of like it's not just a gas station. It's it's got like hot dogs and coffee
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's like before those kinds of convenience stores started looking like miniature supermarkets, right?
Exactly.
Well,
It's pretty rough, yeah.
Is it like somewhere between a convenience store and a truck stop? Is that kind of the
Yeah.
vibe?
Yeah.
Not like
Is
a
this
full on
is it-
like sit down restaurant, but like
right. This
you
is
know.
not like I'm picturing like when we call it a highway, it's basically just a 2-lane road, right? It's not like a East Coast or West Coast, super highway.
Right. Yeah. No. It's. I mean, I would say it's not a freeway yet.
Yeah.
Like probably in 10 years, 10, 15 years, it will be a freeway. But right now, yeah, 2-lane highway for sure.
Right. So back to Jesse's question. I don't know how much of a truck stop would be because I imagine there's not a ton of like truck traffic. Or maybe there is, I guess, because there is a lot of mining and stuff. I guess there is.
Yeah, there's a lot of mining. There's logging. I would say
Right.
trucks definitely come through.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
And like I'm like for the people who end up staying over or whatever, there's the diner. There's like places they can stop. But I think just like if you're just rolling through, be able to grab a hot dog off a roller and a hot cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea. That's good because it has like that ocean of parking lot, that you need for like trucks.
Mm-hmm.
That it's very spooky middle of the night. Just a couple fluorescent lights, lighting up this vast parking lot for these trucks.
Yeah, it definitely at night. It definitely looks like the cover of a Godspeed You Black Emperor album.
Right.
I think everyone has introduced a rumor except Michael. Is that right, Michael? Do you have a rumor about the 76 station?
Yes. Late at night, people swear up and down that sometimes if you're out there, there will be a man standing in the middle of the highway in like a trench coat and a fedora and sunglasses at night. And everyone just calls him the Stranger.
Oh boy. Oh, I immediately had a couple thoughts about who that might be.
Question for you: is the Stranger like thought of as like a good omen? If you see the Stranger, good omen, bad omen, neither? Just a curiosity.
I really struggle with how this could be good vibes. Yeah, it's a bad omen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it also kind of looks like the guy in the Fallout games that shows up and just like shoots somebody with a gun for you and then disappears. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it could be a good omen. Yeah, I think bad omen for sure. Cool, great.
Only 3 years before Fallout came out.
Yeah. Really, the first Fallout was in 97?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Wasteland is out already, right?
Yeah, Wasteland should be out already.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's all our locations, and that officially wraps up Pact creation. So let me just take a moment to kind of think through maybe where we start. I don't have a full-on hunt prepared. This is a little bit more kind of like a starting situation in Blades or Scum and Villainy, I think.
Can I ask a quick question? Actually,
Yeah.
Let's. Did we ever do drives?
Oh
and
gosh,
beliefs.
Thank you, Jesse. You are correct. We need to do drives and beliefs. Thank you. This will happen every time I run this game. Yeah, let's go. Let's do drives and beliefs. So, every hunter has 2 beliefs. One which is about the pact or another hunter, and one which is about the world or the supernatural. Both of these should probably be actionable in some way. It doesn't have to be like it's not going to be actionable necessarily in the same way as your drive, but it should be something that drives play. And then everyone has a drive as well. There are prompts for the drive by playbooks, so I'm glad to share those as we go through. If anyone needs a little bit of assistance, and those are on page. No, those are on the pages where the for the playbook. So, but there's information about beliefs and drives on page 45. Why don't we just take a moment and go through that? We can talk it out if anyone wants to, pitch anything or run anything past anyone, especially as you sort of make, a belief about one of your fellow hunters. And let me know if you want to hear the sort of prompt for your playbook for drive.
Jason, question for you. Are you cool if I make a belief about Junior?
Sure.
I'm thinking it's something like Junior has so much hope still, or Junior still sees the world through rose-colored glasses. I must protect him from tinting it darker, something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Does that
sure.
does that make sense?
Yep, that fits.
Are folks cool with that?
Yeah. And I'm not sure what the belief is going to be yet, but Brandon, would you be comfortable if Junior has a crush on Hope?
You're muted.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
All right, let me think of a belief.
Hope is really nice. And probably clueless about that.
And then I have my other belief and drive whenever we're ready. But
Belief about
Cool.
the
Yeah, why don't just put a okay or something in the chat when you have your beliefs and drive done, and then we'll go through them when everybody's done.
So, what kind of beliefs about the world or the supernatural?
Yeah,
Are we thinking of? What are some examples?
yeah.
There's
So
so much room there.
I mean, I guess I would think about it. How does the way Hope sees the world or the supernatural, how does that drive her behavior? I think, from talking about her, we kind of have a good sense of that, but, is that something that you can put into, a sentence? The world is blank, supernatural is blank, I must XYZ. Did that help? I can give more specific examples if you need.
Let me try.
Kind of what it says in the book about beliefs is so that they represent things that your hunter believes to be true about the world, about their fellow hunters, about the pact itself, about the existence or role of the supernatural. Beliefs don't have to actually be true. Your hunter just believes so. And maybe only for now. Beliefs will change in play. There's actually, a couple mechanics around that. Old beliefs can be cast aside and rewritten. New beliefs can be added. And when you mark doom, your beliefs will change to reflect the influence of the darkness over you.
I think I'm ready.
Let me see what other people do.
So I just saw Junior's belief as some peak teenager shit right there.
It's terrific. I was thinking of beliefs. I believe that Harold really needs a friend.
Oh, that's great.
I think Hope feels like, wow, that's a deep hole to fill, but somebody has to try.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Why don't we? It looks like everybody's ready. Then why don't we just go through and talk out the beliefs? Just go in character keeper order. So, Harold, what is your belief about the Pact or another hunter?
Yeah, so Junior still sees the world through rose-colored glasses. I must protect him from tinting them darker.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be interested to see how that comes out in play. And what about your belief about the world or the supernatural?
Yeah. The supernatural is dangerous but also powerful. I must either destroy or control it wherever I find it.
Mm-hmm. And your drive?
I will conquer the demon in my head.
Nice. We'll see about that. Dale, what's your belief about another Pact member or the Pact?
Yeah. So my belief about a pack member is Mr. Havamaki and I must be a good example for these kids.
How old are you, Dale? Just remind me. Roughly.
Dale's in his like 40s, 50s.
Right. So you're still like twice my age, but
Yeah, but
I guess I'm the adult, and I'm still an adult relative to the other two.
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. About the world, I fear that the supernatural could be anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And my drive, I will ensure the weirdos are safe and orderly.
Oh, this is
I don't
great.
know what I rephrase.
This is gonna go great.
Cool. And yeah, Hope, what's your belief about another hunter?
I believe that Harold really needs a friend. And about the occult, or the supernatural, I'm rephrasing this. I believe that I want to say she believes that little things snowball quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find a pithy way to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Where the occult is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there are no small problems.
You say small magics have large effects.
I believe that magic gets out of control quickly.
There we go.
There we go. That's it.
Yeah.
It's got the right level of.
Yeah. And what is Hope's drive?
I will keep the apocalypse from happening.
That's not a tall order at all.
No, I mean her drive is really. I will keep the apocalypse I know from happening. It's like. So I'll make that modification because she knows exactly how the world goes to shit. And is hoping desperately that at least it will go to shit in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Is that too much to ask? Maybe we can do a little better than that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that distinction. All right. And Junior, tell us about your beliefs and drive.
Okay, I've got If I do cool shit, Hope will think I'm hot. Keep Ontanoggin weird, just not end of the world weird.
It's good.
And my drive is I will make sure Gran is safe.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think we open at the 76 station, right? Late at night. We get this shot of the vast parking lot, mostly empty. And I think probably some of the some of the lights in the parking lot are burned out, and the camera kind of pushes in, and we see Junior's bike locked up against something. Or actually, does he even lock it, or does he just throw it somewhere?
Nah, he probably just has it sit next to the door.
Yeah. And we push in through the door, and it's the dead of night, and it is dead. You haven't had a customer in hours. When the fluorescent lights flicker, probably happens every now and then, right? And they flicker again, and as they do so, kind of in that strange liminal space where the light has gone out, but you can still sort of see it in your eyes. You're pretty sure you see a shadow of some kind, a figure, and then the lights come back on, and you don't see anything again, and now the lights go out completely. And actually, maybe what we see is the lights in the parking lot go out one by one, until finally the lights inside the station go out. What do you do when the lights go out?
Well, I push pause on Divine Intervention by Slayer. I just got that. I just used Grant's car to drive to town, and I bought that, and it came back just today. And I pick up the phone, and I'm going to call Hope, and hopefully she picks up.
What time do we think it is? Middle of the night.
Probably like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah. All right.
Ring, 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 ring. Hope, come on, pick up, Hope.
You're muted.
You're muted, yeah.
So sound of phone being knocked off of nightstand.
Okay.
And then sort of scrabbling noises, and then Hope goes, huh?
I saw it again. I saw it again. A stranger. I bet he's here.
I was having a really nice dream.
Forget about that.
What?
The stranger.
The stranger?
The lights are doing that thing again.
You mean right now?
Yeah.
Ugh. Why does this always happen at 2:00 in the morning? What time is it? Okay, fine. Hang on. Where are my glasses? Okay, I'll be, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here all night. I'm not off till 4.
Okay, I'll be over. Tell it to stick around this time.
Okay.
And Junior, you feel a presence lurking over your shoulder. I think if you turn to look, you don't see anything in the. I mean, there's barely any light here. There's still some coming in. The moon is outside. But Harold, you have finally been kicked out of the last pint. Mercy says it is enough is enough. You need to fucking go.
For good or for the night?
Well, who can say?
Is this the first time she's ever said that?
You tell me.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, I feel like this is like a ritual at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I always get there before her shift starts. I mean, not always, but I think I often get there before her shift starts. And so like she's not there to kick me out, and like I think the manager's kind of a shithead who doesn't care. Like, who doesn't like? I think part of what she does is that she cares, right?
Mhm.
And I think the manager doesn't, and what little money I have spends just as well as anybody else's. So
Mhm.
she tolerates me until it's too much.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm out. So I stumble out.
Mhm. Yeah, and you know that it's we said what's about 2:30 a.m. So the bars should be closing by all rights, but uh, you do know that if you really want, I know it's not your favorite place, but that the Gasping Canary doesn't really ever close.
Yeah. Check in. How do we feel about drunk driving here? This is a rural Midwestern.
It's kind of a pastime, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
I just
I
wanted to,
mean, if they couldn't arrest people on drunk driving charges, they wouldn't have anything to do half the time.
yeah. So I think I get in my car,
Mhm.
and I think I drive 94. I think I drive like a beat up old Lincoln Continental that had been my grandmother's.
Mhm.
And she died 6-7 years ago, right? And it was like in my dad's driveway on blocks when I got back and I fixed it up, and so I this is my car now.
Mhm.
And so I get in, and I guess I head towards the Laughing Canary. Is that going to take me past the 76?
As a matter of fact, it is. Yeah. So the Gasping Canary is kind of out past East Pine, by sort of like an industrial park, and the quickest way there from Last Pint is definitely going to be going down Highway B, and then turning off on Double F. So that'll take you right past
Yeah,
76.
and I think I see that my gas gauge is a little bit low too.
Mm-hmm. Of
Um,
course, yeah, yeah.
So I'm like all over the road, and I kind of just like
Mhm.
peel into the 76 drive parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Does it even occur to you that all the lights are out?
No.
Yeah.
I think like once I've stopped and I get out of the car, I'm like, wait, like I have a sense that it's the middle of the night. I mean, I know it's the
Mhm.
middle of the night, but like I don't know what time it is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? I look around, it's like, why are the lights out?
Yeah. And as you're looking around, you're pretty sure that you see a figure standing in the middle of the highway. But kind of as you maybe do a double take, the figure's gone.
Can I just want to take a look at something a second. I kind of want to try and see if I can like reach out to whatever I saw there, or do I think, or like I guess the question is like, what's my perception like of this thing? Like I'm drunk,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like do you think I'm shaking it off, or am I taking it seriously?
I mean, I think you have to answer that question. How would you? I mean, I can tell you the way the camera sees it.
Yeah,
right?
how does the camera see it? Tell me that.
The camera definitely sees it as sort of this, it's this kind of shadowy figure that's present for like, almost like spliced in, right? For just a couple of frames, quick enough that we can almost not be sure that we actually see it.
Yeah, so I think in that case I probably just shake it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I know it could be something, but also it's probably nothing. It's usually nothing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, do I see like where's Junior in all this?
Is it a full service station or like a self-serve? I don't even like back in
Out by the
'94. I don't
pumps?
remember.
Are you in the convenience store? Like what's
I would have been inside, but I was wondering if I would have
Yeah.
like have to come out and like pump your gas or not.
I mean, there definitely, I would say there definitely were, a lot more full service stations, but I would suspect that when you're the only person working, it's probably up to you to decide whether it's full service or not.
Yeah, I think, I think you see me coming out.
If there's both a full service and a self service, like how a lot of gas stations have both,
right.
I definitely pulled up to the full service.
So I come out and maybe you're in a bit of a fugue. So I tap on your window and go, "Hey man, what's up?"
Hey Junior, it's pretty dark here.
Yeah, did you see the stranger? The lights all went out. I called Hope. I think she's coming, and I'm all excited.
I'm trying to remember what the rumor. It's not good to see the stranger, man. You don't want to, and you don't want to see the stranger. It's bad news. We should get inside.
Yeah, come on in, man. I got a new album. You want to hear this?
Yeah.
You like metal,
sure.
right?
I can tolerate metal.
Sure, come on in and I'll get you some coffee.
Yeah, I definitely reach into my glove compartment and pull out a flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't cost any load, right? Or does?
It's like a 1 dot.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna check a load and turn on my flashlight.
Yeah, and we see you and Junior heading back into the station. Where's Dale at 2:30 in the morning? Is this are you at the sad divorcee apartment or?
Oh yeah. I mean, he'll be up in a few hours. He's starting to keep those old man hours. He'll be up at the crack of dawn. But yeah, he's probably asleep in his very comfortable double bed.
Yeah. And you're asleep, and you start to hear a familiar voice whispering in your ear, and it's unclear whether this is happening in your dreams or is actually happening. I think it kind of stirs you into that sort of half state, half asleep, half awake, and you hear X's voice say, "He's come back."
X, it's like, can we not do this again right now?
But he's back, Dale.
Wait, who's back? What are we talking about this time?
The one who came through the door.
The trench coat, hat? We're talking about?
Yes. The one you let through the door.
Now, okay, X, we're going to do this. We're not going to do the blame game thing, all right? It was a 2-man operation. We both know what we were doing. Just gets out of bed and is sitting on the edge of it.
Well, it's not really fair to blame the dead guy.
I'm not blaming the dead. I haven't even had any coffee yet. It's 2 a.m. Is it okay? Is it out? Is it present still, or is this just another wild goose chase?
No, it's there. I can feel it.
I'm totally out in the parking lot by now.
Yeah. Hope. I think this is intercut with Hope pulling up into the dark and mostly deserted parking lot.
Hope is Hope has a little briefcase, electric meter, field, electric field meter thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like a yeah. Do you want to mark off
Yes.
some gear there?
Yep,
Probably
I'll do that.
monster hunting gear, I'm guessing.
Monster hunting gear, sure. That's
Yeah.
it's pretty generic, but that'll do. Yeah, I mean it's well, we got it this because she wants to see what the pattern is.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time we've actually caught the stranger while they're here and not 15 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got her pad out and she's taking. She has a thing just stacked on the hood of her car, and she's taking notes.
Yeah, I think we hear the sounds of like kind of electric crackles and probably there's probably some theremin sounds going on here.
And you guys can tell Hope is out there because her lights are still on.
Yeah. But before we cut back to Junior and Harold, Dale, do you only hear X's voice, or do you feel his presence? Do you see him? What's that like?
It often starts with his voice, but yeah, Dale can see him.
Yeah, and he's sitting on your bed. I think he's like adjusting his socks. He's still wearing his agency issued suit. I think that it is it and him are partially exploded. He looks much like when you last saw him alive or dead, I guess. And yeah, I think you just sort of settle into a little bit this rhythm of bickering with him, right?
Yeah, I think it finally comes like, okay, well, X, like, where was it this time? All right, can you at least tell me that?
Where he always is.
On
out
the
by
highway next to the 76, right?
Yeah.
He's still
the
there?
kid, by the kid. He's still there. I can feel it.
Why didn't you lead with that, X? And it's like action montage of like shirt on, clip on tie on, struggling to put on trousers.
Yeah. And back at the 76 station, Harold and Junior, you are inside. I think the light flickers briefly, and this time you both see this sort of shadowy figure, just very briefly, but I think for a longer time than you did when you were outside, Harold. And you've also seen now that Hope has pulled up in her car. She's leaving the engine running. The lights are on. And are you sitting on the hood of the car as you're doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the driver's side door is open. And she's sitting on the she's popped open the little briefcase gear and is sitting on the hood, and she's waving a probe around in the air.
Yeah, I think
It's
I'd like
to get the change in magnetic fields. She's making little notes.
Can I try something?
Mm.
Unless Hope you're actively doing something, you want to make a roll on that.
I can make a steady roll, but anytime. But otherwise, I'm just background.
Okay, so I think I want to reach out to the void, open myself to the void, and try to connect and contact this thing.
Let's
yeah, what's that look like?
So I think it's weird. I think what I'm doing is talking to the demon in my head. And it feels gross. Right, but it's also it's a power I have, and I think I'm kind of trying to use it as like an intermediary, right, to like sort of talk through it to a creature in the void, to something that's not fully in the material realm, right? This ghostly other, a stranger. And I don't know, I mean, it gives you lots of cool openings of things to do on failure.
So this is definitely risky.
Yeah, I do want. I think. Do you have a deal with the darkness you could offer me?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the stranger really is all about going through doors, and you're opening a door here into your head.
Oh, so the strangers.
So you'll get haunted.
Interesting. My head's pretty locked up tight from the other side. I don't know about this side, right? That's interesting. Okay, yeah. I'm done. I mean, yes, I will accept that deal.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take the extra die.
I think I can give you a help.
Sure. How do you want to help?
Is that one luck?
Yep, one luck to help. Yep.
One luck. Okay. I think I'm keeping you grounded because I'm chattering away about Slayer, which is, throbbing in the background. And we also, maybe the camera sees, Hope outside, illuminated by the light from the store. And she's looking particularly fetching. And I'm like, what do you think about Hope? So I'm just trying to keep you grounded to this material world as you're going through this experience.
Sure.
So do you get is it the same as Blaze in the Dark, where you get effect? Well, I guess effect is different in this. So you just get another die. Is that how that works?
Yep, for help you get another die. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
sure. I will take that help. I think I wouldn't accept help if you were being proactively putting yourself in danger here. But I think if you're just kind of chatting to keep me grounded, I'm down with that for sure. And that gives me 2 dice. 2 more dice. So I roll 3 dice, and it's risky. You said.
And you have to.
It is
And
risky.
do you have to push your luck to use the ability, Jesse?
I'm not using. I'm not using any of my special abilities.
Oh, okay.
This is just the connect.
Gotcha.
Action rating.
Yeah, Jesse changed his monstrous ability.
Got
so
you.
it's not the attunement.
Yeah. I'm not using that other one. I went with something more fighty because I like to punch things. And I think I think the message I'm saying, and it's the same rating actually. Maybe what I'm actually doing is compel.
Mm.
I actually think because I think what I say, the message I send through my passenger, my prisoner, is show yourself or you won't like what happens.
All right, let's see that roll.
And so that's 3 dice. And that's a 6.
Yeah.
All right. So on a 6, you do it. So yeah, you kind of give this command, and here's
the thing's in my head now somewhere also, right? I don't know exactly what that means or looks like, but I have let it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Junior and Harold, you both see this figure step forward.
Step forward towards Hope. It's outside, it's inside. Where
it is inside now. It is inside. Yeah. So when you last saw it, it was inside, and it steps forward towards the 2 of you, and it's a little bit more material than it was a moment ago. And
this is just color for now. But my hands start to glow like a kind of sickly blue light.
Yeah.
Eep.
And Hope, you're out from outside. Your machines start pinging like crazy.
Ooh.
And Dale, you can be probably showing up here any moment if you like as well. And I think what it says, Harold, is I don't like to talk through intermediaries. Why don't you talk to me yourself? And you can feel a coldness kind of enter your skull. You're muted.
Like a brain freeze kind of feeling, or is it?
No. Imagine if your head had a draft.
Yeah. I think I just ask with a glance. I think first of all, I kind of try to signal to Hope. And Dale, did you pull up yet? Remind me. I know you could be pulling up at any time.
Not yet, no.
So I try to sort of signal to the parking lot, right?
Harold. Yes. Well, I can see you're doing your glowy thing. I'm in there.
Yeah.
Harold, what are you doing?
And I say, kind of for Hope's benefit, but also to this creature and for Junior too, right? I say, what do you want?
I want you to bring me the ones who opened the door. And I think that we'll end there for tonight. This is where, this is the cold open. We get the theme song comes in now.
Very good.
And yeah. So let's do end of session stuff real quick. Because we may as well, even though we didn't get super deep into stuff. And sorry, I lost the character keeper here. I'm just going to go through in order on the character keeper. Harold, did you approach a challenge with force of will or brawn?
I think so. I think the force of will there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you embody your background or drive?
Not really yet.
Yeah. Did you express your beliefs, or were they tested or changed?
My beliefs, were they tested or changed? Sorry, I'm still remembering what they are, and I messed up the character keeper. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm maybe on a step towards expressing that second belief, but I'll say yes. I think so.
Okay. And did you portray your relationship to the Pact or the people of Iron Country?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Dale, did you approach a challenge with influence or guile?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Did you embody your background or drive?
Yeah, I think my drive, making sure the weirdos are safe or orderly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you express your beliefs, or were they tested or changed?
No.
Not yet. Did you portray your relationship to the Pact or the people of Iron Country?
Relationship to the Pact, to the people? No.
Okay. And Hope, did you approach a challenge with ingenuity or knowledge?
Okay, yes.
All right. Did you embody your background or drive?
No, not really.
Okay. Did you express your beliefs, or were they tested or changed?
I certainly I expressed both beliefs, actually.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and take an XP then. And did you portray your relationship to the Pact or the people of Iron Country?
Didn't have time. We're out here on a deserted filling station.
Right. And Junior, did you approach a challenge with courage or empathy?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah. Did you embody your background or drive?
I don't think so yet, no.
Okay. Did you express your beliefs, or were they tested or changed?
Yeah, I got Hope out here as fast as possible.
Yeah. And this might be a little double dipping, I don't know, but did you portray your relationship to the Pact or the people of Iron Country?
Does the Pact include Hope is hot?
Sure, yeah.
Yes. So what's that, 3? Great.
Mm-hmm.
What do we mark experience? I see it. Right
It's
above
just,
there.
yeah, the thing.
Okay.
And
what are the one quick thing? What are the dot? There's a boxes at each of the abilities. What's that for? Oh, that's resistance bonus.
Yes.
It's something else.
Yeah. So one of the Pact abilities gives you lets you pick a resistance bonus in one of the attributes
or something. Okay. Great.
All right. And the Pact, did you protect the town and its people?
I think we're probably about to, but
probably about to, but not yet.
So?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get in over your heads?
Yes.
Oh, it's but not over your head. Into
you got something into your head.
I think we jumped in the deep end as fast as possible.
Yeah. I think so. I think so too. Did you express or change your Pact's reputation?
No.
Not so much yet. Did you struggle due to inner conflict or interpersonal drama?
Not yet. But I'm gonna have a word. I've kept a word with Harold.
Yeah. All right. Great. Well, thanks everybody. And this has been Bump in the Dark, Iron Country Autumn. Thanks for joining us for our first session. And everyone have a great night. I'm going to end the broadcast.